Now, here's an example how vlogging has impacted my life. Earlier, I was recording myself using my DJI Mobile 7. I was showing off all the little features and all the buttons and how the gimbal works and stuff like that. Years ago, I wouldn't have done this. Back in 2017, 2018, I wouldn't have done this because I would have been too afraid of what people would say about me or say to me, or what they would think about a person talking into a camera by themselves. You know, they were like, oh, he's probably crazy. He probably lost his mind. But at the end of the day, you have to act like you're talking to a friend. And that's one thing Jaquan Shuford taught me, is you got to push past that perception of your anxiety because you're recording in public, and just record, have fun with it. Act like you're talking to your best friend. How would you react if you were talking to your neighbor that you knew for years? How would you react if you were talking to your spouse, your family members, your kids, you know, and treat vlogging as such a way? Because if you treat it as something you're afraid to do, like say for example, you're shy about being on camera, there's steps you can take little by little that allows you to push past that shyness, that nervousness. You know, start practicing a lot at home. That's what I had to do. I had to practice a lot. Sorry, there's a helicopter flying overhead. So if you hear that, or if you hear me yelling out loud, it's because someone's choosing to fly a helicopter. Now, here's an example how vlogging has changed my life. When I first was starting off, right, I just did poetry performances, reading it from a phone, and I wasn't outside much. I definitely wasn't recording poetry performances outside. But as you guys seen in my recent poetry videos, I'm outdoors with a microphone, and it feels good to just express myself, whether I'm in public or not. One tip, oh, excuse me, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. One tip that I learned from vlogger Jaquan Shuford is talk to your camera as if it's just you, your best friend, or you and your spouse, you and your coworker, you and your neighbor, you and your family member, or you or your best friend. You know, how would you talk to your family members? How would you talk to your best friend that you knew for years? How would you talk to your neighbor that you knew for years? And start to talk into your camera like that, because if you treat it as, okay, I'm in front of 1 million people, you're going to get nervous. You're going to clamp up. You're going to be scared to actually talk because you think in your mind that you're in front of 1 million people because you're outside vlogging. Now, I'm here in my local park, and all the reason why I have the camera tilted down is because it's a sunset and it's very bright. I don't have my filters. I do have ND filters for my phone now, and I'm very excited to debut those, but that's gonna be in tomorrow's video. I have a whole mobile phone set up for my new videos and everything. I'm gonna be debuting those tomorrow though. I have a ND filter, I have a CPL filter, I have a whole tripod mount, I have a gimbal. You know, I'm ready to go full bore into this. I don't need any more equipment. I'm good, y'all. And what's crazy is, to this day, I have one of DJI's oldest camera models, which is the DJI Action 2. And it's still usable in 2025, man. It's crazy. You can't be afraid to just use what you have. That's another thing. You can't be afraid to use what you have. I'm recording this video from my phone, my smartphone, my phone that I actually call people from, or I use for work. I'm actually recording this video from that. You see, all it takes is a good microphone. Microphone's right here. Major shout out to Hollyland for the Hollyland Lark. Well, this is the Hollyland Lark M2. And I do have the M2S. It sounds a little more beefy. Like the audio on the M2S sounds a little more tough than the audio on the M2. They definitely mastered it with this one right here. But you would have never known that, you know what I mean? You would have never known that, you know, had I not actually told you guys about that. You got to use what you have. You know, you can't just watch a YouTube video, be like, okay, this YouTuber has $1 million worth of equipment, right? And so, oh, I'm gonna purchase me $1 million worth of equipment. No, use what you have, just show up. You can give some really insightful advice if you just show up. There's some content creators who make videos without microphones. Yes, it might sound terrible, but they just use their phone. Some of their smartphones have the best mics. A lot of smartphones today have microphones that are comparable to this Hollyland Lark M2, you know, and I can't even fraud. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, vlogging has changed my life. I've gained a whole new perspective. I've gained a whole new respect for where I live because of vlogging, man. You see, when I first started this channel off, I was doing a lot of poetry and animation reviews. Now, mind you, I still love to do poetry. I have a poetry video lined up for you guys. But back in 2024, which was last year, I discovered a YouTuber by the name of Jaquan Shuford. He had a video titled, "Your Life is Amazing. Vlog it," or something along that lines. It was basically about your everyday life, right? Your everyday life, your day-to-day, whether you get up, go to work, or get up and go to the gym, you get up and go for a jog, or whatever the case may be, you should vlog not just yourself, you know, going for a walk or something like that, your scenery, the beauty of your neighborhood. There's hidden beauty in the neighborhood you live in. You just have to record it. You just have to look carefully. You have to look very closely and carefully. And that's what vlogging taught me, because where I live, it's not much. You know, it's a small little neighborhood. It's expanding, but it's still a small neighborhood based on where I come from. Watching like that video by Jaquan Shuford, and I'm gonna link it in the description below. But watching that video really opened my mind on content creation in my everyday life.